Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We are going to explore a really fascinating duality that completely defines the Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. On one hand, you've got this ancient, deeply revered hub for spiritual seekers. But on the other hand, it is a massive, highly complex modern economic engine. Today, we're unpacking exactly how these two worlds intertwine, how they survived a total global standstill, and what the future actually holds for spiritual travel. Okay, so let's dive into this by exploring the captivating local legend and origins of one very specific, highly revered site, Hanuman Garhi. It's basically a perfect microcosm of the region's broader spiritual draw, and honestly, its history is quite remarkable. For our roadmap today, we're going to hit the magic of Hanuman Garhi, the Kumaon tourism boom, the pandemic standstill, the digital spiritual shift, and finally, the post-COVID revival. Section 1. The Magic of Hanuman Garhi, From Graveyard to Glory. The transformation here was just incredibly rapid. Back in 1950, the renowned Saint Neem Karoli Baba, who you might know affectionately as Maharajji, visited a site near Nainital. Now get this, it was actually a children's graveyard. It was a place locals literally went out of their way to avoid. But with the help of his devoted followers, they built a small hut. Fast forward just 3 years to 1953, and they established this magnificent, massive Hanuman statue. By 1957, a Shiva temple is completed. In less than a decade, a place of genuine fear was completely revitalized into a powerful spiritual hub. What's really interesting is how Hanuman Garhi fits into a much wider, incredibly influential network of Neem Karoli Baba's ashrams all across India. It essentially forms a triad of primary sites. You've got Kainshi Dham, which is world famous for its massive June Bandara, or community feast. Then there's the Vrindavan Ashram, deeply focused on bhakti and selfless service. And then Hanuman Garhi holds its own totally unique place in this network as a center for spiritual upliftment and just breathtaking natural beauty. When you visit the main temple complex today, you're just met with incredible devotion. The presiding deity is Lord Hanuman, and the statue beautifully depicts him in that classic, dramatic posture of tearing open his own chest to reveal Lord Rama and goddess Sita residing right inside his heart. This imagery is so visceral, and it creates a deeply emotional connection for the countless pilgrims who travel from all over to visit the site. A crucial part of this magic, though, is the towering altitude. Sitting at an elevation of 1,951 meters, Hanuman Garhi offers visitors absolutely breathtaking, panoramic sunset views stretching out over the majestic Himalayan peaks and all the way down to the sprawling Terai plains below. It's an ideal spot where natural grandeur meets divine grace. Section 2. The Kumaon tourism boom, the economics of faith. To really unpack this accurately, we are drawing on a rigorous, peer-reviewed academic analysis from the International Journal of Creative Research Thoughts. This comprehensive study maps out the region's financial reality both before and after the global crisis, giving us a very clear, data-driven look at the evolution of spiritual tourism in Kumaon. Think about the sheer scale of the visitor influx between 2018 and 2019. It was completely staggering. The region was welcoming around 500,000 domestic visitors and 50,000 international visitors every single year. The peak seasons were heavily driven by traditional events like the Chardam Yatra in the summer and Navratri in the fall. But here's the thing, it wasn't just traditional pilgrimage anymore. There was a massively rising demand for holistic wellness, yoga, Ayurveda, and meditation retreats, drawing in an entirely new demographic of seekers. Before the pandemic, the economic value of this sector was immense. Spiritual tourism in Kumaon was generating an estimated 150 to 200 crore rupees annually. And this wasn't just corporate profit, right? This was the absolute lifeblood of the local economy. It provided direct, vital livelihoods for priests, guides, hoteliers, transport operators, and small shopkeepers. Section 3. The pandemic standstill, when the pilgrimage stopped. The contrast overnight was just stark. Centuries-old traditions that fueled bustling hubs and group travel were suddenly frozen in 2020. Strict lockdowns forced ashrams and meditation centers to entirely close their doors. Group pilgrimage tours were outright canceled due to social distancing rules. This abruptly froze the local economy, completely devastating the communities that relied on that continuous flow of travelers. The impact was immediate and brutal. The data shows a sudden 50 to 60% decline in tourist footfall in that first year alone. This left transport operators with parked vehicles and homestays entirely without their primary source of income. It was an absolutely unprecedented disruption to a centuries-old way of life. Section 4. The Digital Spiritual Shift. Faith finds a new medium. But temples and religious institutions didn't just shut down and give up. They built a completely new model of engagement. They introduced virtual darshans, allowing devotees to experience those sacred temple interiors via their screens. They live-streamed daily artis, so prayers could actually be observed from living rooms around the world. And they set up digital donations, allowing remote financial support to keep temple operations running despite the physical absence of all those pilgrims. According to the academic research, these digital tools weren't just a temporary makeshift fix. Even as things opened back up, they remained incredibly popular. This shift permanently expanded the accessibility of spiritual tourism, allowing the elderly, the disabled, or those living halfway across the globe to maintain a continuous, highly active connection to these sacred spaces. Section 5. The Post-COVID Revival, a Sustainable Future. The data shows a super resilient phased recovery. You can see the sharp dip in 2020, sitting at about 45% of normal levels. By 2021 and 2022, as restrictions finally eased up, we see a solid climb to 75% recovery. And by 2023, domestic travel led the charge right back to 100% of its pre-pandemic levels. The travelers absolutely returned to the mountains, but, their preferences had fundamentally changed. Today, tourists are seeking something entirely different. There is a massive new preference for sustainable, offbeat, and eco-friendly tourism. People are shifting away from tightly packed mass pilgrimages in favor of personalized, nature-based wellness retreats. Safety and sanitation are basically non-negotiable now, and government initiatives are heavily promoting rural homestays, meaning those economic benefits are spreading out much farther into local communities, driving a far more sustainable, long-term model. We've seen some incredible adaptation in this explainer today, from devotees transforming a 1950s graveyard into the towering panoramic sanctuary of Hanuman Garhi, to an entire industry embracing a modern, hybrid digital model just to survive a global crisis. It leaves us with a really compelling thought. As we increasingly seek ancient spirituality through virtual streams and highly personalized, secluded eco-retreats, has the true journey inward finally evolved? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.